Hey there guys, it's Scott here. I wanted to share a quick video with you today. In the last 72 hours, there's been some real kind of changes in what's going ahead in artificial intelligence. And I feel they're changes that people need to be aware of because it's really exciting to see where things are going next. Those three things are, one of them's from Microsoft, one of them's from Claude, which you may not have heard of before, but it's by a company called Anthropic, and they make their own AI. And the third one's actually something coming from Apple today as well. So let's just quickly go into those. Monday, Satya Nadella, the CEO, so chief executive of Microsoft, and his team were in London at an AI tour event where they were doing a bit of a roadshow showing what's available in Copilot. And he gave a keynote speech, and amongst lots of other things like him talking about their partnership with the UK government, his push to try and get IP, kind of loosened a little bit about intellectual property, what could be used in AI. The real big standout thing was something called agents. And with agents, we're talking about autonomous AI agents. And what does that mean? What does that mean in English? What we're talking about really here is like virtual employees or a virtual workforce. And they showed a pre-recorded demo, but they showed someone talking through how an agent is going to be able to help you and how AI is going to be able to do things not necessarily without you asking it, but it'll be pre-programmed and it will do things and follow sets of instructions when certain triggers occur. So we already have things like this with Power Automate, where we can make our automations. And look, working in modern work, if you look at this, you'll go, oh, it does look a lot like Power Automate. But what it's then doing is once something's triggered, it's doing some really, really cool stuff.
Let's take a look. It all starts with an incoming email from a prospective client, much like you see on the screen right here. Now, previously, they had people on the back end essentially receiving these emails, parsing through them, and figuring out what to do next. Who should it be routed to? What expertise did they have in the firm? But this is where the autonomous agent comes in. Now, an email comes in, and the agent springs into action. What you see here is that it will begin to parse out the email, moving through the ambiguity of human language to, for instance, find out what the engagement's about, to check the engagement history, to also map it to their industry standard terms, and then finally to try and find the right person to take the next step within the firm. With all of this information in hand, the agent then goes about writing an email that takes all of this information and summarizes it for the receiving partner. And what you see on the screen is exactly that. In comes a whole bunch of human-written email. The agent processes it, summarizes it, and sends it to the right partner in the firm to take that very next step. Now, it's worth pausing for just a moment here to reflect on what you're seeing. It happens so fast, you might miss it. But essentially, this agent has been given a loose set of instructions, kind of like you would to a human, and it deals with all of the messiness of human communication, figuring out what the right next touch point is for the customer. Now, this is magic, but it's only half of the magic, because now we're going to go behind the scenes to see how easy it is to actually create an agent just like this. For this, we will move over into Copilot Studio. Here you see that we have programmed up with McKinsey the agent, but not using a sophisticated programming language, instead using natural language, the same way that you would tell a colleague to get ready to do this task. You also see that what makes this agent autonomous is that we can set what's called a trigger. In this case, the trigger is set to watch an email address and to react immediately when an email comes in. But in fact, you can set it to look for events across a whole wide range of systems, sitting there working for you 24/7, waiting for an event to come that gets it going. You also, just like a regular human colleague, add knowledge. Here we see a Word document, a SharePoint site, and a database about engagements. But of course, you can add additional knowledge sources. That includes line of business systems like SAP or ServiceNow, or even databases. And finally, to finish up what you give this agent to do its work, you give it a set of actions. And we saw those in the flow. These are actions that include things like pulling out the relevant information or summarizing what a human has written. All of this together makes the agent powerful because it can deal, again, with all of that ambiguity that a human throws at it. Now, what we saw was one email coming in about one new client engagement. But the exciting thing here is that this scales. How does it scale? Well, to see that, we'll go over to the activity pane where we can look at the long list of engagements that it's working on. Zooming in up top, for instance, we can see that it's worked on over 1,300 engagements, and there are 33 in progress. If we want more details, we can go into the Analytics tab. What this means is that this agent is always working on behalf of the firm, and that's very exciting for us. Now, from here, we also see that although the agent's amazing, it does sometimes need some human help. So we're going to jump into a case, the second from the top here, where we will see that it gets a little bit stuck. As you look, it's gone through those steps that we saw previously, but it's stuck here at that one where it's looking for the partner. And if we zoom in, we can see why. Here, for instance, we see that it's picked the right partner, but that partner has now left the firm. It has an instruction that says if that's true, it needs to escalate to a human manager to give it someone else to go to. Now, to see what that looks like, we're going to switch over to Copilot and see that interface with that human manager. Here at the bottom right, you will see that a notification pops up in Copilot. Then the manager gets all the information he or she needs and can provide the right person to route the email to. Back at the ranch, going back to our agent, we can see that it takes that information and fills out what it needs to do.
So after watching that video, I was thoroughly impressed with the way Microsoft are moving with their agents. We knew agents were coming. We've seen kind of teasers before, but to see everything kind of bolted together and using that kind of Power Automate flow, it's really, really impressive. The real standout feature there was when he referred to us as human managers. And yeah, we're referring to, we've got artificial managers and artificial agents, and we've got human managers and human agents. So it was just really interesting to see that kind of dystopian sci-fi kind of saying there. So next up, hot in the news, straight after the day after on the Tuesday, Anthropic announced some updates to their Claude chatbot, which is like a rival to ChatGPT and to Copilot, doing wonderful things, a fantastic chatbot, and they're really kind of ahead of their game. But they brought out something called computer use, and computer use is allowing the AI to control your PC, to actually pick up the mouse and keyboard and move things around on your screen and see what you're doing, to be able to help you with kind of monotonous tasks. So let's have a look at that.
So I'm Sam, and I'm one of the researchers here at Anthropic. Computer use is something that we felt was going to be important for a while now. And so today we're going to be talking about a very early version we have of computer use and walking through a representative example of the things we think it's going to be useful for. We're going to be going through a quick demo today. In this fictional demo, a customer, in this case the Ant Equipment Company, has come to us and asked us to fill out a vendor request form. The data I need to fill out this form is scattered in various places on my computer. What we're going to do is ask Claude to look at the spreadsheet, check if Ant Equipment is in there, and if not, move over to the CRM and try and find some more information there. Once it has this data, Claude's going to then fill out the form for us and hopefully transfer the information across to the vendor form. The first thing that's going to happen is Claude's going to start taking screenshots of my screen and quickly realizes that the Ant Equipment Company isn't actually in the spreadsheet. So the first thing it does is it swaps over to a CRM and searches for the company we're interested in. Luckily, we get a search match, and Claude then starts scrolling through the page, looking for all the information it needs to fill out this form. Claude then autonomously starts transferring the information across without me having to do anything, and goes through the steps and fills out all the information needed. And then submits the form. This example is representative of a lot of drudge work that people have to do. This is available in the API. We're excited for people to try it, and we should expect things to get a lot better over the coming months.
Now with this, they mentioned this is a very early release, and it's going to be available to a limited amount of people. They want to try and iron out any bugs and get this right. And there's some other videos available online which I really urge you to go and have a look at. But it's really, really impressive to see. And it's one of the, it's not the first, but it's one of the first mainstream attempts at being able to allow AI to take control of your PC. And again, like we were talking about the agents earlier, where we've got agents being able to do jobs and do things for us in the back end of Microsoft 365, this is now allowing AI to do things on the front end, actually take control of devices that we already use, which is just a fantastic thing to see, and again shows a direction that AI is going in the future. The next thing to talk about is today. So today is Wednesday. Apple have released the beta for iOS 18.2 today, which brings new features to Apple Intelligence. So Apple Intelligence still isn't available for the masses. 18.1 should be dropping within the next week. The release candidate for it came out only Monday night. So everybody will have access to that soon. But with the new version of 18.2, some of the extra features that aren't there in 18.1 have come along with it. That includes some really important things like we can now set our region to UK. For us UK folks, we don't have to have those weird Americanisms to be able to use the latest AI on there. But other things have come into there as well. So we've got Genmoji, the ability to be able to create emojis directly using AI. We've got Image Playground, where we can go and start creating images in the OS. We haven't had that before. And we've got ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is baked into the operating system. You can sign into Apple Intelligence and allow ChatGPT to augment things like Siri, to help you with your rewriting of emails, to help you with composing of things. There are more features that people are finding at the moment as they play with 18.2. It's literally dropped within the last couple of hours, but something just to let you guys be aware of. So 18.1 should be available by the end of the week. And 18.2, like we say, is in beta, and I think that's going to be coming out around about Christmas time. So there we have it, guys. That's 3 big things in 3 days. 3 big enough things that I felt they need to make a video anyway. So have a look, see what you think. What are your thoughts? Do you like the direction of where things are going with AI? Do you find it exciting? Are you worried about it? Have a conversation about it. Get in contact with us. We're certainly excited. I think the direction is definitely fascinating to see where things are going to go. As always, be excellent to each other. Take care. Goodbye.